What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Transparency. Today is Thursday, all day. What is it? August 14th. Moscow Police Department, just gonna get right to it. Moscow Police Department is just gaslighting their residents. Can you believe that? How could Moscow Police Department have the audacity to gaslight right now their own residents? You guys do know that all 182 photos from the crime scene that Schneider took, they were downloaded to a CD. That CD was already, I'll just say, they put it through the taint team, okay? And things were redacted. Some stuff, it might have been pulled, okay? But that CD, that went out to media outlets. Moscow Police Department is telling its residents that they need more time to gather that type of information in a public request that they already have gone through to the point that it is in a file. Download it, upload it, send it. Here's your request. Takes you literally 2 minutes. I'll give you 10 to have the whole thing done and sent. Yeah. So Moscow Police Department right now is 150%. I have the proof. Telling its residents that they need time to fulfill a request that they've already given media outlets. You know what I say? You're a fucking liar. Right here. Anyways, that was my public service announcement this morning. So welcome. We've been riding way over here. I want to give a shout out to Murky. Oh my God, hi. I feel like it's been so long. Murky was getting healthy for us. Welcome back. All right. Now, give a shout out to the thumbnail here. You guys know who's on the thumbnail? That would be Bill, Backseat Bill, Ashley Jennings. They're doing a lot of interviews right now. They just did a couple interviews. And Bill Thompson was sworn in again for his next 4 years in January. So Bill Thompson has the opportunity, if he wants to, obviously retire early and opt out of the four. Okay, but if Bill Thompson wanted to be a team player, Ashley Jennings is not death penalty certified in terms of that she would not be able to pursue the death penalty in any cases. She has to get her shit together. But basically, it would take her about 2 years. And then she could, so if Bill Thompson wants to be a team player here, write it out until Ashley Jennings is ready to take over where she's in the capacity that she can do whatever. So that's why the title is, Friends Till the End, is will Bill Thompson, aka Backseat Bill, aka Bill Jennings, hang on for 2 years, let Ashley Jennings get all of her credentials where she needs to be, and then so she can actually be the person that takes over. Now, do I think that should happen? Do I think that Ashley Jennings should be taking over? Well, I would have liked to have seen a hearing where if Ashley Jennings, the evidence presents itself and that she was lying. No, I don't. But do I think that she's put in her dues in terms of Idaho standards? Absolutely. Absolutely. Give it up for Dawn Daniels. Has Dawn Daniels put in her dues? Absolutely. But I will at least say this about Dawn Daniels. She wanted no part of putting on a search warrant, hey, how they got the DNA. We're not going to do that. Why? Because she knew. So we got a lot of women being whoop, whoop, pumped up over there. I love it. Go broads. Just don't let men do shitty shit and then you're taking the face of their shitty shit. So be careful, broads. But with that, rock on. So in a nutshell, Ashley Jennings has to get her credentials in order here the next 2 years. If she in fact wanted to take over that office, and if she so that she can have, if she wants to take on these murder cases. Now, where's Molly? Motorman.
I'm looking for Molly. I've been searching everywhere and I can't seem to find Molly. Molly, 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 Molly. Yeah, I got it.
Molly, where are you? How come nobody has struck up an interview with Molly yet? We're gonna try to get that interview with Molly. Tonight there's going to be a big bust out, but I'm going to give you guys a little sneak peek. You know, my good buddy Mark B. Give it up for Mark B. Mark B. has really worked these last, I would say, whenever the 1112 film came out. Guess what? Mark B. has been working on. Mark B. has been working on the fact that let's see, that the getaway car did not originate behind the house. What? That the 420 and some change vehicle did not originate from behind the house. Top of that. If it did originate behind the house, it would have had to start this vehicle, which nowadays your lights automatically come on. You would have had to start this vehicle to the point that somehow you were able to immediately shut down the lights, then drive down the hill with the lights off, and then not turn back on your lights until right in front of the house to then take off. Just like they used 1112 to tell you guys how cars were spinning around and going around Queen, and they would your headlights would shine on different parts of trees and houses and stuff like that. Mark B has been working on, okay, let's pinpoint when this car starts in the back of the house. So that'll be tonight. Moving on. So again, if you're in a rush, which we're gonna get into right now, and then we're gonna talk about Pullman for the big booms over here. But if you're in a big rush, you're trying to get out of there, but also you have to make sure that you're not trampling the blood inside your car, things of that nature. It's gonna bring me to my first point, which is, ta-da! I know you guys loved my guest so much. Like all the comments, just they are like, we love Scott. When are you gonna have Scott back? And I'm like, yeah. So, you guys, that was honestly the best guest that Idaho4 has seen since the plea deal. Let me tell you why. Because I just can't believe that 2,000 people were in chat, right? Watching, whatever, while it was live. And which I want to tell you guys something. You guys know who David Middleman is, right? Yeah, big name here. So he was set to testify in this case. You guys know that, right? He runs Othram. Well, I had Scott Roder on, I think, at 10:30 a.m. at that time spot, USA, Eastern Standard. David Middleman, a couple weeks back, he was at that same time spot. And he couldn't get but 400 people over there, in which I love Defense Diaries. No knock on them. They love them. But I'm saying that I could not believe that people were not over there listening to David Middleman's interview. 2 weeks after that, we have Scott Roder over here, and I just believe that controversy brings people, just like kind of like sex sells type of thing. But for people that saying that I didn't enjoy it or I blah blah blah, well, you watched. But did you listen? You guys, Scott Roeder comes out and says that, hey, upstairs, that looks like a left-handed person up there. You'd have to know a little bit more. Like, I mean, but the biggest thing, this was somebody that was not running around. This was somebody that was methodical, slow, because the two different rooms, the gravity drops. There was no one, oh my God, getting interrupted upstairs. And it looks like they're then running downstairs and yeah, no. So I'm like, and then, so left-handed, could potentially have been using both hands, a lot of force, not a chaotic scene. Then I said, how about this? Let's explain Dylan. He's the first person to mention this to the point that I think that it is interesting as to like how does Dylan live? And also if he wanted to go in that house and just kill everybody in that house, did he even attempt to go downstairs? Wouldn't that mean that he would have attempted to, I don't know, go into Dylan's room? But does that raise some questions about if anybody else was home? But then he said, well, it looks like the killer would have changed clothes here if we're not able to, no footprints out. So did that happen in the home right before he was leaving? Okay. And that he then he has a book bag that he goes in there with, he changes, and as he's leaving, the clothes that he has on, he can't get bloody, and so had no choice, but he could not kill her because then that really fucks up your plan because you have to get in the car. So anyways, those are the two big things, or I should say the three big things I think I took away from it, to the point of also that Murphy, what type of dog Murphy is. And I'm like, what do you think? 7-8 minutes? 7-8 minutes? That's why I've been over here saying that I don't think that whoever was, and Brian said he did it. Did he leave in that car? There would be nothing in there. I don't care. 6 weeks later, I don't care. I'm going to ask him about that on the next time. So, yeah. Brian is right-handed, by the way. But that's only off of our preliminary, what we get to see. Hardly any pictures. Yeah. Talked a little about the flashbang, too. So, yeah. But I'm like, okay. Wow. So 7 minutes, 8 minutes. Everything that he would be saying and seeing, you guys, they're people, meaning Muscle Police Department's people, FBI, Idaho State Police, they would have had to be talking about that. Okay? When they're breaking all of this down. Because when they go to trial, how are we going to explain some of this stuff? For example, that's why I brought this up. That's why I'm over here with this stupid order over here. Okay. I've been going back and looking at some of these. I'm going to zoom in. Defendant's motion limine number 10, improper expert testimony, middleman. He doesn't even talk about middlemen in this little blurb that he wants to use in F. Defendant's motion limine exclude IGG. Remember, both sides are saying, hey, we're all good. We're not going to be talking about IGG evidence. Okay. Which I thought Hitler got. I would have loved to have seen him bring that order, how he would have ruled. But the state has indicated it will present evidence through Detective Payne. Do you remember that? When I'm over here like, how? The defendant's name was revealed to law enforcement through a tip. Well, you already have him on the record saying that how they got to him. But to avoid issues at trial, the court advises that the parties to arrive at a mutually agreeable, right there, narrative. You know, I think the writing, you guys, this is really, I'm going to say it. The writing was on the wall. Remember, we're talking about all this, and it's just like, how in the world are you going to lie to the jury? What you're going to tell the jury a narrative on how you got to somebody, and that's not really the way that you got to them? You know, this is a mess. This is a mess. Think about it. If I just did all that work to get Detective Payne and Mowry on the stands different times throughout this pendency of going to trial, and then here, everything that I built up to be able to explain, because the hugest part about their defense is going to be that Brian Culver was not on their radar ever, never, ever. Okay. And that just because you got this tip, don't you still have to follow through with, like, okay, it's like if you call my name in there, you just don't go arresting me because somebody said, hey, look in Atlanta. Oh, let's go arrest that hoe. No. So what's interesting is that when Payne testified and said, well, it's just like anything, we have to vet that tip. Well, when did that tip actually start becoming to be vetted? Okay. Because how would I be able to challenge that actually Brian Culver's name, didn't come up on the 19th, and it actually started to be vetted in at the end of November? How would you be able to? Don't you think that Ashley Jennings and that team's gonna be like, Your Honor, sidebar. What's up, Willie? Welcome, Willie. Willie's doing lives again, everybody. Willie's like, why has Atlanta been over my channel? And I'm like, Willie, I didn't even know that you were live again, brother. Didn't even know. I don't even know that answer. All I know is, Willie, if I have the time, I'm making a skit, a 2-minute skit of your intro to your video. Because I was peeing my pants the other day. Ask Annie to tell you about it. Anyways, sidebar's over. That's why I don't pay attention to chat. They get off topic. So yeah, everything that Ann Taylor was working on, if you guys, the 314 reports, Ann Taylor is asking for certain people, once this report, once that report, once things that she sees that, okay, a report should have been written. Who did this? Where's it at? Type of thing. Oh, wait, Christy, yes, we're going to get to you. If you have some time today, I'd love to have you up. I was going to have you up for my Dig Pullman session. I don't know what you got going on, though. Well, let me know that. Yes, you do have time? Awesome. Good. That's going to come at the last part. Oh, sweet. New Orleans lady, thank you. Hello. 40 months? Divide that by 9. I think we're well on our way to 5 babies. All right, good. Awesome. Sweet. Moving on. What was I saying? Oh, yes, Ann Taylor. All these reports. Yeah. This right here, to avoid issues at trial, the court advises that the parties to arrive at a mutually agreeable narrative about how the tip came about. How could you agree to that? How could either side agree to something like that? That's their whole freaking argument. Now that I have the material, now that I have, at least, I shouldn't say all the material, some of this material, I'm like, there's no way that you could be coming to some agreeable it would be, you need to go and use the probable cause. That's what we're going to agree to. You guys use the probable cause. So what I'm trying to get at here, this portion of my show, is to tell you guys that, do I believe that a plea deal just came up at that 11th hour? Absolutely not now. No, I don't. I do not. There's no way. What I mean by that is Bill Thompson says that Ann came to him. Will you give us this deal, right? Well, just because someone comes to you and asks for something doesn't mean you give it to them, right? And also, I know how lawyers speak. I guarantee you there was a hell of a lot more than Ann Taylor just saying, "Dear Bill, will you give us a plea deal? Send." In fact, I don't even think that Ann Taylor would have ever put that in writing. So by Bill saying to me and to the world saying that Ann went to him, what did she go to you with though? What did she go to you with? But I don't see how you could actually have a trial when we're talking about this stuff and that it would not just be total like the whole thing is me. The whole thing that Ann Taylor worked on for 2.5 years is to figure out how they truly got to Brian Kohlberger. Okay. And to truly figure out what went on with the IGG stuff. Why is stuff being passed around without any chain of custody? Brian's name isn't anywhere. And then boom, they get their name and boom, there's like just everything that was going on happened like this. Oh, everybody has time in advance except Brian. But then here you get to, we're going to have a motion lemony and hey, Judge Hippler comes down and says, the state has indicated it will present evidence through Detective Brett Payne. The defendant's name was revealed to law enforcement through a tip. Okay. So that's great. He can say that. But then I'm going to, if you're Ann Taylor, what are you going to, oh, that sounds great, Brett. Okay, next question. That's what the fuck they've been doing the whole time. 2.5 years worth. To avoid issues at trial, the court advises the parties to arrive. What does that even mean, to avoid issues at trial? What do you mean to avoid issues? The whole damn case is at issue about this. That, hey, you guys better come up with this mutually agreeable narrative about how the tip came about. Well, I don't know how anybody could say, after you've read these 314 pages of, or 314 reports, could ever say that Ann Taylor could ever make that, how Brian's team, anybody who would be representing this person, could ever say that we can't agree to a false narrative, because that's our whole point on how we're attacking this case. Like, what? How do you expect us to go to trial? That's the whole problem, is that we need them to say something. We can't come to some agreeable thing, because then you're just basically like, you're stabbing or shooting your own leg off with your case. Does everybody understand that? Because you're questioning everything to do about the investigation, but then, and you're going to show that to the jury, but when it comes to this, you're not going to be questioning it. The parties are also directed to jointly craft a jury instruction advising the jurors to not concern themselves with the source or nature of the tip. That's great. But again, that screws up my whole that's one of my huge big booms to try to explain to how to give to the jury. Okay. Especially now, like I said, we got these 314 reports, and I'm just like, whoa, when you'd be getting this discovery and it being broke off to you, you're like waiting to see, like, okay, where's Brian's name? When did Brian's name? When is Brian's name? And Judge Hippler says, if agreement cannot be reached, the parties are to submit to the court their proposed narratives prior to trial, and the court will decide how it will be presented. Awesome. Now, going back to this order, this is another part that I think that people, well, that I'll even say for myself, that we need to discuss more at length. Right here. Okay. Coming back to the timing advance reports. How big is this in Brian's defense? This is what would prove that you knew that the phone was shut off at 2:47. This would also show that why you didn't map the handoffs. And that is, here's balance. The state contends it never received such records from AT&T in response to its subpoenas. Right there. The state contends it never received. The state contends it never received such records as from AT&T in response to its subpoenas. And therefore, any statement by defendant that the records should have or could have been provided to the defendant should not be allowed. It mischaracterizes the evidence, will mislead the jury, all that crap, right? Well, he says, as we know, in support, the state provides certificates of authenticity, AT&T for which of the two warrants, stating that it did not provide timing advance records. But, ready? But they're not the ones that provided the records in the first place. Unless, ready for this? Unless two things. Obviously, we know now global legal demand could not be the people to provide that, but you could also hide behind a new warrant. So if the feds have theirs, that they got their special relationship through Boyd Jackson, right? And then what they did this whole case is then after the fact, just like we found out through Mowry, through these reports, that he was then, hey, we're gonna send you off and you're gonna get all this cast training after the murders, before and after the grand jury. You're going to map this all out so that you can talk to the grand jury. Why are you doing any of that? You already did it all. This is why you arrested the man. So hiding behind what the feds have already done in terms of, hey, go and get it through this way, and then that's what you're going to present. But that's not how you got the shit. And so Ann Taylor was going to have a hell of a time. But if she had a way to go about it, is the timeline and explaining all that, I think could be explained. But not if you're cutting deals like these. Not if our whole argument here is to say how they ever got on our client, like things like that. So there's all these writings on the wall that basically, how does the defendant or the defendant's team, if you're preparing for trial, are you guys not steering? Let's all sit around a room and look at each other and be like, okay, what are we supposed to do here? What are we supposed to do here? And just because something was ruled on pre-trial, it does not mean that you cannot re-raise those issues at trial. You can. And you should. In fact, so I've been working around the clock here. I'm writing a huge filing. That's why my hours have been weird when I'm going live and stuff like that. And this is wild to me. Defendant relying hugely on Cyree because he said that, hey, that's not how they got those records and that they would have those records. But guess what? We're going to allow you to ask Nick Balance. We're going to allow you to ask him. But if he answers and says, no, it's done, it's over with. Anybody reading this order, like, why wouldn't Judge Hippler just say, you'll be able to voir dire him, period? Why would he go on to continue about the rest of that sentence? Cyree is adamant that the state did not received the documents, which he argues are exculpatory, and is hiding them. Defendant points out he has a constitutional right to challenge evidence against him and therefore must be allowed to explore the state's misrepresentation as the availability of the records. What do you mean the availability of the records? That's not what they're talking about. Fuck the availability. They're saying that you had them and you have them. The homicides occurred on November 13th. The defendant first became a person of interest on December 19th. See that? Ann Taylor's arguing that. That's what Payne says. You guys, these 314 reports that we've had, there is no way I believe that. Sorry. Do not believe that. Janet, buy yourself a coffee, Lana. Thank you so much. Shalom, 7 months, almost a baby. Almost baby. Member for 29 months. Is it Saudi? William, 10 memberships he gave out. Who is green because of William? Raise your hand. Scott's point on the coworker aspect for Ellie, prosecution, judge, court-appointed attorney, all begin on the same team was kind of a gut punch. Yeah, that was a nice nugget too. It's true. Why be so nosy? Gifted 5 to the chat. Yes, thank you. The 2 AT&T warrants were issued on December 23rd. This is his logic. This is his logic is like, dude, Tiller's like, the defendant first became a person of interest on December 19th. Okay. And I'm telling you, thus the timing advance records for the defendant that could have been of any relevance had long been discarded by AT&T and no longer exists. How does he know that? How does he know that? Oh, wait. He doesn't know that. I would like to know that. I want to hear all about that. Applying these principles here, defendant will be allowed to voir dire special agent balance outside the presence of the jury. Do you understand that Cyray's affidavit was way more than that? In Cyray's review of this investigation, I have read numerous emails sent and received by law enforcement pertaining to their investigation. One such email dated 11/15/2022 was sent to prosecutor Ashley Jennings. 11/15, you guys. Sunday's the 13th, Monday's the 14th, the 15th is a Tuesday. I have on my whiteboard here, I said, what was going on November 15th? And I want to add November 15th to the day that the wheels first fell off on this case, because that would be the day that Danny Vargas is a rock star, and so is Payne. Danny Vargas somehow gets Linda Lane footage, has the 1112 King Road footage, has Maury's lying about that he doesn't even have access to that, okay? On 11/15, I look over here at my whiteboard and I'm like, the FBI came in on November 14th, according to reports. Jack Showalter calls in on 11/14 at 10 p.m., 10:30 p.m. They talked to Eric Grower, apparently at the police station between like 5 and 7 p.m. They're lying and hiding the fact that they actually have video footage. and have access to it in the capacity of like an owner of the video. Scott Green is the actual way that Kane over there at Linda Lane got involved. According to Kane in his interview, said that Scott Green hit him up, and that's how hey, yeah, go ahead and give them everything. Do you guys remember that? It was Scott Green in the relationship with Kane at Linda Lane, and that was on 11/14. So let's go back to yes. One such email dated 11/15 was sent to prosecutor Ashley Jennings at her Latah County government email address. This email is from Detective Lawrence Mowry. On 11/15, Detective Lawrence Mowry. The email is informing Ms. Jennings of Detective Mowry's recent contact with FBI Special Agent Nick Balance. Okay. Special Agent Nick Balance informed Detective Mowry that AT&T can provide timing advance data and to make sure it is listed in the search warrant. Detective Mowry is specifically asking Prosecutor Jennings to make sure that the AT&T timing advance data is listed in the warrant prior to the report ever being distributed by the working group known as GLDC. Oh, let me just repeat that one. That's very, very important. This is prior to the report ever being distributed by the working group known as GLDC. Miss Jennings did respond to Detective Mowry's email inquiring on the specific verbiage needed to obtain AT&T timing advance. This email is abundantly clear evidence that Miss Jennings was not only aware of the existence of just the terminology of AT&T timing advance records. You understand that? Syray is saying Jennings knows about the terminology AT&T timing advance records. Okay. In 2022, she knows that terminology, but also shows her intention to obtain it through a legal process from AT&T because she wrote in her motion that AT&T timing advanced wasn't even available until 2023 June through GLDC. Okay. And what Syray is showing the judge right there is that she's lying. That's a fact. That's a true statement. But that has nothing to do, like you're gaslighting. That is such gaslighting. So here you got Detective Mowry on 11/15. Detective Vargas calls in Payne and says, hey, you got to come check this out. Come check this out and look at this footage at 3:50. Okay. And then they're working on, okay, the Showalter shit, right? Mind you, there is not a single report besides Hathaway that happened he called and they talked. And I think that was by design because I think that they were all playing dumb and here you act like we just sent out to and, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, Moscow Police Department does not interview Jack Showalter. They're doing everything, behind the secret door. And just like kind of how they did with Brian, okay? Did they go and talk to Brian on December 19th? Let him know, like, hey, we got your name. We were just wondering where you were. How quickly did they go into? Did they do that to Jack Showalter? Well, Jack Showalter called them. Imagine if Jack Showalter didn't call them. You guys go through those 314 pages or 314 reports. Who did MPD interview? Do you guys think that MPD interviewed Molly for the first time that she was ever talked to was by Corporal Brett Payne on the 23rd of November? I don't. This email communication with prosecutor Ashley Jennings is the same prosecutor Ashley Jennings who filed this current and contradictory motion stating that AT&T did not produce timing advance records in 2022. Because that's exactly what she said, that AT&T did not produce timing advance records. And this is what happens when you lie. What happens when you lie, when you go back and you try to fight then your lie, you're like, oh, I can go ahead and claim that timing advance records didn't exist until 2023. And then boom, this will shut it down, right? Au contraire, because there's a paper trail of that shit. And that's what Cyray was proving is that, listen, we're talking about, there's so many points here that we're trying to make that you have a prosecutor lying to you, okay? She knew that the timing advance records existed in 2022 because she got them. And she knows that if what I'm telling her right now and what we're saying and what she would have known from the FBI then, or if she would have went and asked them, she knows that, or would have found out that, yeah, GLDC did not give us the timing advance. That came from my relationship with Boyd Jackson. But she knows all of this, okay? And so the way that she wrote up this motion, so the reason we're talking about this is because if Judge Hippler thinks that I'm just going to call Nick Balance to the stand, okay, and say, hey, Nick, did you obtain these records? And that's how that would go down. That's not how this would go down at all. There's a lot more to it, to the point that Ashley Jennings is a witness if you do it properly. So the state was the people that put in the motion limine for the AT&T timing advance records when they did that on February 24th. So everybody's like, oh my God, this plea deal came out of nowhere. No. On February 24, 2025, when Ashley Jennings, after she told us all while she was spinning around like an idiot, she's saying that, who cares about those 7 minutes? Who cares about those 8 minutes? What? That's how long the murders supposedly took. Like 7, 8 minutes is a big deal. You just saying that cars just can't turn around. What? That's not even, that's gaslighting. She gaslit the court. Here, after her blunder, she goes, the state brings this motion based on defense counsel's repeated references. When does the defense counsel had ever put in motions that we've ever seen about AT&T timing advance? Just so you know, they're non-existent. They may have been sending them to Ashley Jennings with discovery requests, but we never saw that shit. So the state brings this motion based on the defense counsel's repeated references to the alleged existence of AT&T timing advance records related to the defendant's cell phone. See defendant's supplemental response for the expert witnesses. And then she goes on to say right here, the state has been advised. The state has been advised and will offer documentation and or testimony that AT&T records are produced by their Global Legal Demand Center, GLDC. AT&T GLDC did not begin producing timing advance records until May of 2023. Period. She put the period. Okay. Meanwhile, she knows that it's like, my kid wears a size 3, period. But my kid wears a size 1.5 in women's shoes. Like, that has nothing to do with shit because your kid wasn't wearing shoes that day. Oh, okay. Global Legal Demand Center, whenever they began to take timing advance records in 2023, has nothing to do with what you did in 2022. And that you used the phrase in the motion that, or in the search warrant that you wrote, timing advanced. So when she also saying that the state has been advised and will offer documentation and or testimony, Ashley Jennings knew, I'm not writing that, I'm writing it this way. The state has been advised because I want nothing to do with this. I'm blaming someone else. But we have to go all the way back now to 11/15/2022, Ashley, because that's not what you were advised on 11/15/2022. So the state has been advised and will offer documentation and or testimony that AT&T records are produced by their Global Legal Demand Center. Period. Then Ashley, why did you put timing advance in your specific language that you were given from Nick Balance, or actually from Mowry, who got it from Nick Balance? All records for the defendant's phone were obtained from GLDC in December of 2022. The state intends to supplement this motion with additional information from the FBI and or AT&T prior to the hearing on this motion on April 9th, 2025. Now, so all the way back then, this email communication with Prosecutor Ashley Jennings is the same Prosecutor Ashley Jennings who filed this current and contradictory motion stating that AT&T did not produce timing advance records in 2022. He is just using that sentence because that's what this, because when you want to talk about how people, judges look at shit, that sentence right there is a absolute fucking lie. That's a lie. This is a lie. There is clear and convincing evidence that not only was the FBI able to obtain AT&T timing advance records in 2022, but they did so with the knowledge of the prosecutors involved in this case. So let me ask you guys a question. When Bill Thompson says that Ann Taylor went asking for that plea deal, you think that, again, now let me just tell you how the prosecutor talks. Ann Taylor came to us. I bet she did. I bet she fucking did come to you. But you notice how he just put period on that? The same way as Ashley Jennings put period over here. What's the rest of the story? I bet she did come, but I bet she came with a lot of shit that you're gonna give us this deal, or otherwise all this shit coming out. You want to talk? Missing AT&T timing advance. Cyree says, in my review of this investigation, based on my training and experience, it is incredibly unusual that the defendant's AT&T timing advance records were not obtained by the FBI. Number two, the FBI demonstrated their ability to obtain AT&T timing advance in November of 2022 by obtaining AT&T timing advance records on over 3,800 mobile devices, none of them being the defendant's. Three, when it comes to location data for AT&T, timing advance data can be some of the most accurate data available. Additionally, it contains connections to the network other than the typical voice, text, or data connections. Now, you know how, what's their names? The Barnharts just came out talking about that Brian was so strategic that he shut down. What do you think helped them in that? What do you think probably also helped them figure that out? I would think timing advanced data. I think that would help me. Here's where the really big booms come. This allows law enforcement to not only see more data, but more accurate data. Anytime a defendant's locations are in question, a timing advance report would be asked for as a standard operating procedure. Moscow Police Department, by way of the FBI and with the knowledge of prosecutors, demonstrated their awareness of this standard procedure when they obtained AT&T timing advance data on over 3,800 mobile devices. You would have requested this, and it's there. It's in the. You would have requested this, and it's shown that it was requested in the search warrants. Okay, for Brian Colbert stuff, but they're saying that they didn't receive that. They didn't receive that. Well, Brian's stuff would have been sought and got in 2022, right? But if you can go back 7 days, right? You'd go back 7 days. What's 19? Well, I'm sorry. What's 23 minus 7? Anybody? Class? Is that like the 16th? So what I'm trying to get at here is that let's go off of what they're saying. And even if you went and it could only go back 7 days, wouldn't you at least still want the timing advanced data for up to 7 days? Wouldn't you still go backwards? No, you know what? Even though the murders happened this time, they would still supply you with that. And you would have it from the 16th, right? Meaning that even though we know that you guys didn't get it through the global legal demand way, if you still went through your personal contact way, okay, wouldn't you then be able to get that all the way from like the 16th to the 23rd? And people could say, well, why would that be important? Well, if you're trying to find if you're trying to locate Brian Koberger, like, and then I said, now I know why they did the trap, pen, and trace. Oh my God. They covered their motherfucking tracks. This is why they said that they needed the trap, pen, and trace. Because they didn't know where he was. But if you actually got his timing advance, you do. And you don't need a pen, trap, and trace. Get it? So now you're asking for a pen, trap, and trace on somebody that you should not be. Why? They were cooked. They were cooked. This is what I believe was taken. You think Ann Taylor and her team just were like, you know what? Hey, let's go get some. Let's go have some wine, man. And we just got drunk, and you know what? I'm just gonna dial up Bill. Hey, Bill, you want to give me a plea deal? Bill Thompson's right. Ann Taylor went. Ann Taylor went to Bill, but she didn't just say, "Hey, Bill, we want a plea deal." I think she went and said, "All this is coming out. You've worked for 30 years, Bill. 33 years, whatever your legacy is. Ashley, you want to be damn Bill." So they went all of this, put that all out. This is the type of shit that and so you want to ask yourselves, why would Bill Thompson take a deal or make a deal? This is why. Not for the kids, not for the parents, not for the surviving roommates. That's all fucking lies. This. There's more. I love dates. Ready? When detectives and prosecutors requested and served 2 different search warrants, AT&T on the defendant's AT&T account, they requested the exact same timing advance data they previously did when they obtained the timing advance data from AT&T. So I have a question. When they did what they did with Molly, if you go based off of Molly stuff, the 22nd, how The 22nd would have been the absolute last day, Molly, that you could have possibly put in for all of this stuff. I don't know what kind of phones Molly has, though. Again, remember, this is just AT&T. But when I went back and checked that date on Molly, I was like, damn, it's November 22nd. Hell shit. Wow, Molly. I was like, isn't that interesting? I don't know if she has AT&T, though. She probably has T-Mobile. I could see her as a T-Mobile chick.
Hi. I am looking for Molly. I've been searching everywhere and I can't seem to find Molly. 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 Molly.
There's a little shout out to our boy over there. Yeah. So Molly. So when detectives and prosecutors requested and served 2 different search warrants to AT&T and the defendant's AT&T account, they requested the exact same timing advance that they did on the 3800 mobile devices. They also maintain the same process in utilizing. That's the key word. They use the same process, which was that they utilized the FBI to serve the legal demands on AT&T. There is no difference in the verbiage, legal process, or individuals and that produced the AT&T timing advance data on 3,800 mobile devices, and the request for the defendant's AT&T timing advance data that allegedly yielded nothing. Additionally, on December 23rd, 2022, the FBI sent a communication directly to AT&T, specifically detailing their request for the defendant's AT&T timing advance records, specifically dealing. There is no reason to believe that AT&T would not respond to this request. What he means right there is that AT&T would at least tell you that those do not exist. Like, there's going to be some communication there. AT&T is just not going to ignore it. If you're specifically saying, hey, let me get this, when that warrant would come back, don't you think in the language, this doesn't exist, would be there? Or, well, I know that's what we're talking about here. It is my expert opinion. AT&T timing advance data did exist for the defendant's AT&T mobile device in 2022, and it was requested from AT&T by the investigators involved in this case. The investigators previously demonstrated their ability to obtain AT&T timing advance data in 2022. Failure to produce the defendant's AT&T timing advance data is either a gross deviation from the standard practice or intentionally withheld from release in discovery. That's a Brady violation. Do you understand that that's a Brady violation? Do you understand that Brian Colbert would walk? It is my expert opinion in reviewing all the evidence that has been disclosed by the state that A, AT&T timing advance data was available on the defendant's phone in 2022. B, there is overwhelming evidence showing the state obtaining and using AT&T timing advance data in the course of this investigation in 2022 on over 3,800 AT&T mobile devices other than the defendants. And C, there is no doubt the author of this current motion, he's like, AKA you, Ashley Jennings, listen up. There is no doubt the author of this current motion, Prosecutor Ashley Jennings, knew or should have known AT&T timing advance data did exist in 2022. She was directly involved in the legal process obtaining it and was aware of work product created from it to further the investigation. The current motion is a deliberate misrepresentation to the court to further conceal false statements used to obtain probable cause against the defendant and conceal exculpatory evidence from discovery. That's what this channel has been saying since 2023 January. Now, why in the world would Bill Thompson deal and do a plea deal at the 11th hour? Careers. What did Hitler come out and say? This would be career ending. I'm prepared to provide witness testimony, Cyree says, and relevant exhibits that support all of my opinions contained in this affidavit. It is my belief this evidence is beyond clear and convincing and will be supported by any competent expert in this field who reviews all the data. If you don't think that Cyree would have then looked at all this shit and probably said, hey, dude, I need to make sure that I'm not losing my mind. What do you see? But maybe in this case, he couldn't because it was so locked down. But any competent expert in this field who reviews all the data, this is not a battle of experts. The evidence supporting the opinions in this affidavit, it's overwhelming. In my nearly 30 years of working with and for prosecutors all over the United States, I have never witnessed such a deliberate attempt by prosecutors to mislead the court on evidence in such plain sight. And this is basically a dig at Hitler. Okay. And this is why Hitler said he's a conspiracy theorist. Okay. Is because of this sentence right here. In my nearly 30 years of working with and for prosecutors all over the United States, I have never witnessed such a deliberate attempt by prosecutors to mislead the court on evidence in such plain sight. Anyone making such a claim would have to believe the court is incapable of reviewing physical evidence in possession of the state and defense. That's the knock on Hitler right there. That because he's the person that's going to be reviewing it. So it says anyone making such a claim would have to believe the court. So if the prosecutor's making these claims, she's basically doing them because she knows that you, Hitler, are incapable of catching and sniffing her fucking bullshit. That's how easy it is for this person, Ashley Jennings, to write up a motion like this. Because you're not going to do anything because either you're not capable of seeing that she just gaslit you like a motherfucker, like second grade, or you're a cheater too. It rises to a level beyond a simple miscommunication or oversight and is clear and intentional misrepresentation in the hopes to conceal a much larger issue. Like, y'all, this ain't about just this. There's a much larger issue here. Again, it rises to a level beyond a simple miscommunication or oversight and is clear and intentional misrepresentation in the hopes to conceal a much larger issue. I respectfully request the court give this affidavit the due attention it deserves and explore these issues further. Hitler blew a gasket. Now let me tell you something. Anybody that's fucking like a real motherfucker, like myself, I don't shy away from shit like that. Wait, this motherfucker wants to testify? Bring him out. Bring him out. Because how I would be is, wow, you present all this stuff, and then I find out the little homie over there, AJ, Ashley Jennings. Can't say AJ, that's giving her too much cred. How damn dare, like, that person, right, think that they could do that to me, right? But then you go back to what Scott Roeder said 2 days ago. The prosecution, the judges, they're all on the same fucking team. And that's the problem with our criminal justice system right now. The day that judges took off the referee jersey, okay, and went and put on the home team jersey is the day that there's no such thing as justice, blind, folded, and bullshit. Do you think it's like when you're little? It's like when you're little. If you never would get in trouble for shit, you're never going to stop doing it, right? This is no different, but this is on a way larger scale, right? But these are the people that you would want running and being powerful in your town. Fuck out of here, no way. Again, so when Bill Thompson wants to go on his little whore tour and Ashley Jennings wants to go on their little whore tour, take my fucking phone call. Take my phone call. You won't. I'll give you you guys saw Scott Roeder? I don't care what opinion you have. I don't care. Hey, I'm just going to ask you questions and you answer them. If I feel like they need to interject at a time, I want to listen to what you have to say. They won't. So I said, I'm going to conduct my questions here for you guys. Okay, so if I had the opportunity to have Bill and Ashley here with me. Hey, Bill, Ashley, welcome. Hey, Bill, so did you get my coffee mug that I sent to you over Christmas? Do you want to see it? I wasn't sure if maybe you got it or not. Ashley, I only had one, and so sorry that you didn't get one, but we'll send you a t-shirt. Let me know what you want on it. If you want my face, I am starting to produce pillowcases with my face on it, so you can always go to bed with me. Maybe that's kind of what you're thinking. Your husband can have the other pillowcase, so then it's like how's that sound? Hold on, I have to get my mug. Okay. All right. Oh, hi. Yes, come on in. So should we just call Bill and Ashley? Ask them if they'll take my call. Open a can of whoop ass. Here we go. Okay. So here you go, Bill. Did you get this? I had one and I sent you one. Okay, see that? Okay, good. It says, 4 stages of a man's life. Number 1 is you believe in Santa. Cheers. 2, you don't believe in Santa. 3, you are Santa. And 4, you look like Santa. Bill, did you like that? Did you enjoy that one? Okay. So thank you for taking this time to interview with me. I know that you guys could probably be out and about doing a lot of things and getting fluff pieces. So I do appreciate you taking the time. Cheers. So I kept one and I sent Bill one. Yeah, you guys, I sent this to him like 2023. So I don't know. Did you end up getting it? I bet you one of those rat bastards stole it. Probably one of those one of those do you have a bailiff down there? What do you guys have down there? All right. So you've been doing this for what is it? 30 some years, 40 years? I don't know. You said you were the only person to ever prosecute a case without a body, you know? So my first question is if you could change and have anybody's body in the whole world, whose body would you want to put your head on? That's my first question to Bill. You want me to go first? I'll go first. If I could change and put my head on anybody's body, I'd pick Ashley here, Miss Jennings. Because I think with my head on top of those shoulders, a lot more shit would get done around here. Okay, Bill. Everybody wants to know, what kind of shampoo do you use in your beard? Not sure if you saw the clip, Bill. Want to go ahead and point you here to it. Molly McMichael here is saying that she's friends with you. She says, I'm friends with Bill. Do you believe that she's talking about you, or is there a different Bill? Okay. Now, Bill, again, this question goes to you. Ashley will get to you here. I mean, they're just randomly selected. Bill, you said to spread this far and wide. Were you accidentally reading a love note when you were speaking to the community when you said spread and far and wide together? Okay, Ashley, we finally have a question for you. Ashley, do you have any pets? Were you aware of a guy named Ian Harsh that came out and he asked out one of your guys' deputies or something over there if she wanted to come over and pet his cat? Has he ever asked you if you wanted to pet his cat? Okay, back over to Bill. How do you guys, I'm just trying to make you guys feel comfortable. I really watched MSM for like 3 days straight to just get the best like softballist questions I could find. So hopefully you guys feel comfortable. Okay. Next question, Bill. This one is actually, have you ever had a dinner date with Kevin Fixler from the Idaho Statesman? A lot of my viewers think he's like kind of cute. So have you ever had that opportunity? Okay. So he just happens to get everything first, not because of your special relationship. Okay. This question is actually for Ashley. Can you come back here, Ashley? It's okay. Come on. Oh, you're gonna go pet the cat? Okay, we can wait for you. Go ahead. Well, you can bring the cat. Oh, you're gonna go to the bathroom? Pet your own cat? Oh, go ahead. So sorry. Bill, I guess we'll ask you another one. Bill, is it true that you sent the FBI to Gabriela Vargas's house? Do you just have them on speed dial? How did that work? Bill, did you take offense that like Cy Ray did not mention your name in his affidavit? Did that kind of like chap your ass a little bit? Or how'd you feel about that? Okay. Bill, I noticed, actually my viewers noticed that you had mentioned your wife in your recent interview. What's your favorite homemade cooked meal from your wife? Now, does she make enough to invite Ashley over for dinner? How does that work? You just give her like that Tupperware. Here you go. You can have yours to go. Send her on her way. Have you and Ashley ever shared a hotel room together when you've traveled up to Boise? Oh, good. So I can stay in Ashley's room and use the second bed because you guys get your separate rooms? Okay, good. Perfect. Okay. Oh, hey, Ashley, are you back? Hi, come on. Come gather. Let's see what other questions I had here. Want to make sure we keep it light here, guys. Okay. Okay. Oh, back to you guys did a plea deal here. And you said that this just came out of the blue and you were totally not expecting it. And that would be kind of not true. Is that really how you feel? Like you just totally weren't expecting it. So were you expecting Cyre's affidavit when he accused you of prosecutorial misconduct and that you should be barred from ever stepping into the courtroom again? Or were you prepared for that? Now, do you guys have lawyers? Since you guys are lawyers, how does that work? Do you like have like a lawyer, like, or do you just handle like your own? Like, if you just want to like go and sue somebody because they like, I don't know, they flicked you off and they just gave you such mental distress that you're just like, I'm going to sue them. I cannot focus. Would you like pass that off to like a different attorney, or would you just file it yourself? Okay. You guys were at the crime scene, right? Okay. Did you ever think to yourself this could be more than one perpetrator? Was that like something that was on your radar, not on your radar, never crossed your mind? Ashley, this one's for you, Miss Jennings. I don't know if you've seen any of my work. I want to show you this video I made for you and Bill, and just let me know if you've seen it before and what your impressions are, okay? Oh, sure, Lana. Let me just take a look at that. Yeah, hold on. I'm going to pull it up right now. Sorry, Ashley. I don't have mainstream media just being able to, oh yeah, here it is. Whip up my clips when I need them. Okay. Here you go. So it's not that long, okay?
Your Honor, our position is that the court should.
Okay, there's my first question is, when Ann Taylor says like my position is, are you like me? Do you start thinking about like sexual positions? Has that ever crossed your mind when Ann Taylor says that? Or is that just like a thing over here? It's okay if you don't feel comfortable answering. You want to pass on that one? Your husband's watching? I understand. Okay.
Suppress the IGG identification and everything that flows from that. This is supported by Fourth Amendment of the United States Constitution, due process, Article 1, Section 17 of the Idaho Constitution. Your Honor, there was no warrant for several.
My next question is every time that Mr. Nye grabs the is that a coffee container there? What is that? What would you call that? Is there really coffee in there? Is there water in there? Have you ever seen Bill Thompson use my coffee mug? So he really didn't get it. And we're sure there's no alcohol in that, right?
Phases of the search that led to the IGG work, investigative genetic genealogy. And we think every single one of those stages, a warrant was required. None was given. And so this must be suppressed. Your Honor, I'd like to identify this.
Ashley, can you kind of clear that up for us? Was there no warrant with the IGG? You know, there's supposed to be like phases of this. So there was never a warrant that you guys went and. Is that because you didn't have probable cause? I don't think our viewers understand what that means. So there's steps that you have to take on, and one of those steps, even to just go and like, hey, we're gonna give it to Othram to do IGG on a piece of evidence that you're taking from and out of like the. So I just have a question because I'm dumb. Basically, you go and you take a piece of evidence out of, you know, your guys' evidence locker room, and then you sign it out, and then you're supposed to get a warrant to then go and have IGG, meaning investigative genetic genealogy. Is that where that's supposed to happen right then? And that's what she's saying? Oh, can you speak up for the, is that yes?
three stages, and they are when Idaho State Police Forensics Lab, through Moscow Police Department, moved a DNA sample to Othram Laboratories to develop a profile to run through genetic genealogy investigations.
So right there, they needed to have that warrant. And just so the viewers understand, it's because you guys did not have probable cause to go and do that yet. Right? Because why wouldn't you just go get a warrant? I mean, I heard that Miss Megan, is that her name? I heard she just passes out warrants like candy on Halloween. Is that true? Speaking of Halloween, Ashley, what's the last costume that you've ever worn? Do you pass out candy at Halloween? Are you like a candy passer outer, or do you just leave your bowl out? Like what, are you a half-asser? Do you just leave a bowl out because you go and celebrate somewhere else? Do you shut off all your lights and turn on your sprinklers? What type of Halloweener are you?
Was no warrant for that search for a SNP profile that could be used to attempt to identify somebody. The next stage would be when that was transferred to the FBI for their forensic investigative genetic genealogy work.
Oh my God, Ashley. So you were supposed to get oh my gosh, I didn't even realize this. You were supposed to get 3 warrants, because it kept on moving. I noticed that you're not even looking up. Is it because you already know what she's saying to Judge Hippler?
Try to identify somebody. No warrant was in place for that work either. Finally, there was a trash pool in Pennsylvania, and there was no warrant for that trash pool either. All God. 3 of those stages of this case, there should have been a warrant, and there wasn't, and this must be suppressed.
Warrants. Okay, when I think of warrants, Ashley, I think of I don't know. I think of warrants like who cares, right? Warrant. We're trying to solve a murder, right, motherfucker? Is that how you feel? I'm catching a motherfucking killer, bitch. Is that how you feel? Speaking of bitch, what's your favorite cuss word? If you were to, for me, fuck you, motherfucker. How would you just give it to someone?
And do you know approximately how many warrants you worked on in this case?
I don't, ma'am. Several. I don't know the exact number.
I'm going to.
Offices with doors, but in the same second floor of.
Ashley, next question. Sorry, Bill, you're going to have to hang on. Actually, I think I have one coming up here for you, though. Ashley, I noticed that you, like me, I love black. Love black. Do you like your coffee black? Like you like your women? Or like you like your men? Are you haha funny?
The Moscow Police Department.
Are you aware of Special Agent Balance in his work in doing AT&T records, having any access to AT&T records without a warrant?
I'm not aware of that, no.
Are you aware of him having any ability to review?
I'm sorry, you didn't hear that? Okay, I can go back. Right here.
In the same second floor of the Moscow Police Department.
Are you aware of Special Agent Balance in his work in doing AT&T records, having any access to AT&T records without a warrant?
I'm not aware of that, no.
Are you aware of him having any ability to review AT&T records through any portal without a warrant?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay. Ashley, are you aware, though? I get it. Payne's just 2 years. He just got on the force. I'm sure you didn't spill your guts to that type of 2-year, right? So, I think what Miss Elisa is saying there, correct me if I'm wrong, Ash, is that basically Nick Balance had a special relationship with Boyd Jackson. And so therefore, everything that Nick Balance was getting was through Boyd Jackson. And was there even any warrants, subpoenas? And you don't know about it. I mean, Payne doesn't know about it, but do you? You seem like a woman in charge. You're going to know what's going on. Oh, you like the back door? Okay, thank you.
Do you have, when you say that it was provided to Special Agent Balance, is that because you don't have the capacity, technical skills, I guess, to review that?
Did you spit out your drink when she said that Payne didn't have the capacity? I was sipping on my Bill mug and went, Did you feel the same way that Payne didn't have the capacity, and so therefore you felt that you needed to do things like write up the search warrants because he doesn't have the capacity? Is that where you stepped in?
Raw data and do something with it.
Yes, ma'am.
Was there anybody else?
Now, when you, Bill, look at Judge Hippler, I know you look at him, like have a ton of respect for him as we do here. Have you ever seen Hippler outside of being in the black robe? Like, does he ever come watch you play the banjo or the guitar? Has he ever come to one of your gigs? Have you ever performed at one of his, like, I don't know, judge retirement parties that they have in the community?
That you relied on for that, other than special agent balance? Is that because you don't have the capacity, technical skills, I guess, to review that raw data and do something with it?
Yeah.
So did you kind of get the picture here that the defense team was totally gearing up for a crush hammer down job on the FBI? Were you kind of sensing that with the line of questioning that the defense was doing, just totally diminishing the abilities and capabilities and knowledge, wherewithal, that they had nothing to do with this? They didn't do anything. I honestly wasn't paying attention.
Prior to this case, have you ever prepared an Apple warrant?
I don't remember.
What was your training related to Apple warrants in December of 2022?
I had no official training at that time.
This question is for Bill Thompson. We noticed that a lot of people in Idaho shave their heads. And were you, Bill Thompson, obviously you said, I'll just take all the hair that these men want to shed. Is that your motto? You shave it, I wear it.
Prior to this case, had you ever prepared an Apple warrant?
I don't remember.
What was your training related to Apple warrants in December of 2022?
I had no official training at that time.
Prior to this case, had you ever prepared an Apple warrant?
I don't remember.
What was your training related to Apple warrants in December of 2022?
I had no official training at that time.
So did you feel like they were eliminating the fact that you could use any of these officers in the capacity of just saying, through my training and experience? Do you feel like the defense was eliminating that? It's like, during my training and experience, blah, blah, blah. And yet that's just all what's in your probable cause affidavit, right? But you said, Ashley, that it was a working, living document and everybody knew about it and everybody was just plugging away at it. Is that kind of how you guys do it at the University of Idaho with law school? Like, do you guys all work together and solving, whatever it is that you do in law school, to the point that, hey, woo, I help you, you help me, we cheat, we get our woo, I got woo. How about for the bar? I'm going to just take the bar just to see if I can pass it. Do you have any advice for me? Like, should I just get hammered the night before? What do you think?
How was the DeSales email account known?
Bill Thompson, this question's for you. Right here.
How was the DeSales email account known at that date?
Oh my gosh. Bill, have you ever played poker before? Do you think that you would be a good poker player? Now, see, I personally would like to play you in poker. And so I was thinking to myself, hey, here it is. Bill, wow. So it was this DeSales email. That's like a doy, why? Is this just you? It looks like you just got a headache really quick, like a brain freeze, I was just curious. Were you eating a popsicle right before this?
Remember.
How was the DeSales email account known at that date?
I don't remember.
So it's not that he didn't know. I don't even know that answer. He just, yeah.
How was the DeSales email account known at that date?
I don't remember.
But you guys know, right? Payne, he doesn't know anything. I feel like asking him questions is like, ooh, what'd you have for dinner last night? I don't even know if I ate. I don't even know. Do you guys remember when I made that? Oh, Bill. Oh, Ashley. Okay. That is my I don't get it, Cabrat Jack. I don't get it on strike. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Daylight come and you wanna go home. That's my segment of MSM. MSM. All right. What is up? Did you guys not feel like you guys are watching an MSM interview? What'd you guys learn from that? Absolutely fucking nothing. Cheers. I've learned that the 4 stages of a man's life is you believe in Santa, you don't believe in Santa, you are Santa, and then you look like Santa. So I'll go ahead and clip that. That's my MSM segment to interview. So I'm going to take and put the baby Ashley and the baby Lana and the baby Bill and make it, go ahead and edit that for me. Okay. And make it a little skit. Come on. Make it into a little short there. But I want you to take the babies and make it through the babies. Baby Lana, baby Ashley, and baby Bill. So if anybody feels like they just sat through an MSM interview, I'd like to thank my my sponsors here. News Nation, CNN, ABC, NBC. Good morning, America. Thank you. Okay, put this away. Going back to the whiteboard there. So everything on November 17th, big day, big sports day. November 15th, big sports day. Got here. This is my Cyray material for all my interviewing questions for Cyray. Let's talk about Pullman. Let's talk about Pullman. Is Nevada in here? Nevada has done amazing work, and I wanted to invite her up and ask her if she wanted to deep dive Pullman. If not, you gotta deal with my deep dive. I'm gonna call Ann Taylor again, see if she's speaking out yet. Hey, what up, Titty Taylor? How you doing? I know, girl. Have you hung out with Molly lately? I think everybody wants to know. Did you guys know about Molly? When's the first time you saw those September 4th body cams? Because I mean, MPD didn't even know about it. They claimed until June or July 2025. Do you think that they just acted like they didn't, so they wouldn't have to put it in Discovery, and they just all like laid low with that, or what do you think? Well, and I think you know exactly what I think. Yeah, I think that you were just totally sticking it up where the sun doesn't shine for like 2.5 years. So I have a lot of questions. But I'm happy to meet, over some wine. We can invite Bill and Ashley if you want.
for Molly. I've been searching everywhere and I can't seem to find Molly. 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 Molly.
Molly, where are you? I just joined. Who is this Molly we were speaking of? Molly Ringwald. Have you ever met her? Oh, thanks, Angel. Thank you. So if you guys just joined us, the first beginning part of the show for the first hour until the MSM interview that I did with Bill and Ashley, that was basically my opinion of why the plea deal happened. The plea deal happened because of what was going to come out in court. And it could potentially be devastating to the point of when they say that, oh, they don't want to roll the dice with a jury. No. Mm-mm. So Molly is sus as hell. Molly's chilling in the Caymans, man. Bill and I are friends. I know. I just want to ask Molly all about that. Let's see. I got some stuff here. We're waiting for to see. I don't know if Christy's available, but maybe like this. Ooh. Okay. I need my sleuths out there. I want to show you guys something. And I want you to tell me if there's a way you can tell if... Where is it? I'm looking for a USB. Need a USB. Damn it. I'm going to have to go through a bunch of shit. Okay. I don't think it's in any of these. All right, so sleuthers. Let's see if I can pull this up. I think it's still on my computer, though. Hold on. We're going to take a look at something. Let's go to... Hanging tight. Hanging tight. Hold on. Well. All right. Well, I got to look for it. I'll tell Christy I'll hit her up. I don't know if she's in here, but I'm going to stop this one right now. But thank you so much. Woo. Oh, she's so sorry, but she has to. Okay. Tell her that I'll hit her up. Okay, perfect. I will. All right. Thank you guys. I'll be back here in a little bit. Peace.